Welcome back to Caffeine Confessionals. My name is Alan Aguirre. Yesterday on the channel, we took an early look at the Challenge All-Star Season forecast. Thanks to Pink Rose and the Splorer team at Venmo.com, they were able to collect all the inside information to find out who is departing right now to South Africa to film Season 4. I jumped the gun, though. I posted the video with the cast list where we looked at it online, and there were still some big names who had not yet been announced. So, because of that, and some of those big names you really need to know about, we're going to look at the cast again real quick. We're going to skim through the names we went through yesterday. Check yesterday's video if you want more in detail about certain people. But right now, we're going to be talking about the big names that we didn't talk about yesterday because there are some big ones. Challenge All-Star Season forecast coming at you right now. Remember, to stay updated with Challenge spoilers, go to Venmo.com, VEVMO.com. Hosting the show for Challenge All-Star Season 4, TJ Lavin, of course. They're going to be filming in South Africa for 6 weeks. On the cast, we have Ace Amerson from The Real World Paris, Adam Larson making his return from The Road Rules The Quest, Brad Fiorenza back for his third straight season from Real World San Diego originally, Brandon Nelson debuting on Challenge All-Stars finally, Derek Chavez from Real World Cancun back for his second All-Star season, and a big name that's shocked a lot of people. It's Jay Mitchell, Jay Gotti, whatever he calls himself. He comes up with a lot of names for himself. He's famously the guy who quit the X's 2 final. Jay, are you crying right now? Those famous lines by TJ. I mean, when you think about it, that's one of the most famous moments in challenge history for a final. It's been almost a decade since that moment. A lot of people were upset because they view Jay as a total quitter, a total wimp. He's like the epitome of a loser in a final. He didn't die like Big Easy or Paulie. He quit. He quit like straight out. And I don't hate the casting at all. A lot of people don't like him because he's kind of an annoying clout chaser online. But I mean, when you think about it, he's not the biggest dude. He's not like the most like the greatest looking dude either. He somehow got onto the real world, was dating Jenna, had like storylines on the show, was a good confessional, then goes on to X's 2. He's the total layup, but he makes it to the final. He hooks up with John A. He even won a daily challenge that season. And then he has one of the most hilarious moments where he's ever quit. Challenge All-Stars is all about redemption. It's all about seeing if people can grow. And if Jay can surprise us as a competitor, then it's a win-win. At the same time, if he quits again, watching TJ Lavin make fun of him would make my day. Watching him go into a pole wrestle with Brad where he gets his like the absolute wind knocked out of his sails and he shows why they haven't cast him for over a decade, it would be great. Like, there's literally no bad part to casting Jay, in my opinion. Either he loses in hilarious fashion, or he surprises us. It's funny, man. Are you crying, Jay? Like, that is kind of an all-star moment, because there's a lot of people who've been cast for these shows who don't have a moment as famous as Jay, even though it's a bad one. I don't know. I think it's a funny casting. I don't hate it at all, like most people. Kefla Hare, the first black man to ever compete on the challenge, from Road Rules Down Under, making his debut on All-Stars. Really big. Love to see it. Leroy Garrett coming out. He's retired from the main show, but he's not retired from Challenge All-Stars. That's important. Ryan Kehoe, back for his second All-Star season. Steve Mankey, the hand model from Challenge All-Stars Season 2. He's a big announcement. He was not originally on the cast, but Steve really brought a lot to the table on All-Stars 2. He pulled off that blindside of Derek. He was part of the King's Palace Alliance, and then he wasn't. He kind of turned on them. He's playing for himself. As a competitor, I thought he was okay. He was pretty smart in the daily challenges. He just can't get his hands dirty. That's the only problem. I don't think he'll do well in a pole wrestle for that reason, because, can't hurt the hands, can't hurt the hardware. Tony Raines, which is a big debut that I think a lot of people are excited for. It looks great. And another big one, Tyree Ballard from The Real World Denver. He's the other big announcement that was not originally on here. Tyree, statistically, one of the worst competitors in challenge history. He's lost elimination after elimination. He's been the first boot on multiple seasons. He's on team seasons. He's been the reason why his teams lost daily challenges. Tyree was a big guy when he debuted on the show. He's lost weight. He's gotten in much better shape these days. But his body's just never really been built for what the daily challenges require in terms of like endurance, durability, flexibility. That's just never been Tyree. Maybe he'll get some redemption here, because Melinda Stalk was someone who people thought of as like one of the worst competitors ever. Then she goes on All-Stars 2, crushes it, makes it to the final, almost wins the final, probably should have won the final. I'm not saying Tyree can do that, but he can have some redemption. If Tyree wins an elimination here, it would probably it would be a long time coming, and it would be kind of cool to see. He's also significantly bigger than a lot of the guys on this cast, because if you look at this cast, besides Brad, besides Leroy, and besides Tony, it's a bit of a smaller cast where if you get something size-based, Tyree could win really easily. I'm excited to see what Tyree can do. He also has a lot of drama that he brings to the table. I mean, there's the Jasmine Renoir is on this cast, who you'll see in a minute. They have history there. I could see them rekindling something, either fighting again or hooking up again. They are an interesting duo to watch. Avery Tresser for the women, who I adore. Love to see her from the Real World Portland. Ayana back for her second season after making the final on All Stars 2, in much better shape now. A lot of potential drama with Veronica. And the the massive name on here, it is Cara Maria Sorbello. Arguably, maybe one of the most important females in challenge history, if not the most important. 9-time challenge finalist, 2-time champion, winner of Champs versus Pros, 14-13 elimination wins, something crazy like that. She's one of the most important people the challenge has ever had. During the late 2010s, she was inarguably the face of the challenge. She's going to bring a lot to the table in terms of social media drama, in terms of there's a lot of rivalries going on where people don't like her. People have thrown shade at her, but it'll be interesting to see how they interact, because she is a strong competitor. So there are people who take shots at her and throw shady comments about her, but once it gets into the game, they might align with Cara because she could be a strong ally for them. It's going to be interesting because we got Cara, we got Rachel Robinson, we got Laurel, we got Nicole. There's history between, obviously it's Cara and Laurel. There's so much history. There's so much hate and animosity between them. Watching them go toe to toe is going to be fun. Her, Nicole, and Yada have a really interesting history as well. I don't know how Cara's going to do, but it's going to be, she's going to be a strong competitor. And she has a friend who we're going to talk about coming up. Flora from the Real World Miami, and Flora is a mess unto herself. I'm actually kind of sad because I think Flora might be the first boot because she doesn't have any connections compared to everyone else. But she's a messy reality TV character. Janelle Casanave from Real World Key West, back for her second season. Jasmine Renoir, who I mentioned before, back for her second season. Laurel Stuckey, oh my god, between some of these people with Cara, Nicole, it's going to be a lot of drama going on for Laurel this season. Just expect drama. And someone who she got into it a bit with on War of the Worlds 2, a big announcement that shocked a lot of people. The first Are You the One person to debut on All Stars, Cam Williams. Cam is a 3-time finalist, I believe. One of the best elimination records in challenge history, only second to Laurel. She politically dominated double agents in such a way that was, awe-inspiring. She had the whole game on lock. Every single move, she knew where the votes were going. She was trying to keep people out of elimination, keep people in elimination. Things didn't work out, but it was an impressive season. She's coming off a second-place finish. Before that, she made the final pretty easily on War of the Worlds 2, where her and Polly ran the game. Everyone knows that Vendetta season when she was a rookie. Final Reckoning, her and Kaylee, where she's Coach Cam. Killer Cam is a dominant force, one of the best modern players in challenge history. And now she's on the All-Star show pretty recently after giving birth. I don't know how long it's been. It's been, I don't know. Has it been a year? Has it been 6 months? I don't really know. It hasn't been that long, but Cam is back. I think a lot of people were surprised to see her on here, only because she is from Are You the One, but she is a mom, and we've seen moms debut on All Stars as well, parents. It makes sense. We also saw Kayla, so Kayla's also very young. Cam is very young. It's crazy to see her on this list, but I'm excited because Cam is a strong player, and you put her up against Laurel, Rachel, Cara, Nicole. This is a stacked cast. This is undoubtedly a stacked cast. Her and Leroy are going to have a lot of power in this game, and her and Cara have worked together the last few seasons they've done together. So her and Cara are going to be an alliance. It's going to be interesting to see who attaches to them. There's already a very clear old school, new school line of division when it comes to this cast, and there's a lot of lines of division when it comes to rivalries, friendships, just drama that's happened 10, 20 years ago or more recently, which leads us to our next cast members. We have Nicole Zenyatta, a whole lot of stuff going on with Laurel there. And our next big trio, the Mean Girls. Rachel Robinson, 2-time champion from Road Rules Campus Crawl. The loudmouth herself, Tina Barta from Road Rules South Pacific. And Queen V Veronica, 3-time champion from Road Rules Semester at Sea. Those 3 people are going to be reunited together for the first time since the Inferno 2. They're longtime friends. They have a group chat together. They're an obvious alliance on this season. Then you have Cara and Cam. That's an obvious alliance this season. Where people line up and stack up, it's going to be interesting. I don't see Laurel aligning with Cara because they kind of hate each other. So let's assume that Laurel is on the side with Veronica, Rachel, and Tina. That makes sense a bit. You have someone like Ayana. Ayana, like people are saying that like Ayana squashed her beef with Veronica. That's not squash beef. They've been throwing shit at each other for 20 years. I assume that once they meet in person, that stuff's going to resurface. Ayana is probably going to be with Cam and Laurel. Nicole Zenyatta, it's hard to imagine her aligning herself with Laurel after everything, so she's probably going to be on their side too. You have Avery, who's more new school, so I think Avery is going to be on Cara and Cam's side because she just has more connection to them. You have Flora somewhere. I think Flora's not going to be anywhere. I think Flora's going to be the first boot. Who else do we have on this cast? Who else do we have here? Jasmine Renoir. I mean, okay, I think Jasmine maybe has a good relationship with Cam because they're both. I mean, Jasmine's from the Houston area. Leroy and Cam live in Houston now. There might be a connection there. I would probably lean on her being with Veronica and Tina because that's more her pace when it comes to like lifestyle in the house. I would also assume that Janelle is somewhere in the middle. Janelle's in a really good spot. She can play the middle really well in this game. And goddamn, there's going to be a lot of drama within this cast because I mean, I just talked about it out loud, and there's already like a clear two sides of the house. There's a lot of animosity. There's a lot of going to be infighting on this cast. It's a mess unto itself. Oh my god, we just looked up and down through it, and this female cast is so incredibly stacked, both in terms of drama and competition. You look at the male cast, and not really as much. It looks like Leroy, Brad, and Tony are very clearly the three best guys. Brad is coming off a really dominant season on All Stars 3, and maybe he should be the favorite because of that reason, because it was a much stronger cast and he was dominating. But Brad always kind of finds a way to lose. Like, that's just who Brad is. He's not the best with puzzles. He's not the best with eating. So when it comes down to that end game, I could see Tony or Leroy winning it, especially if we see the double agent version of Leroy who was solving puzzles, who was eating, who was down to do whatever. If that version of Leroy is there, he can win this season. Tony, it really depends on his cardio because the guy is looking jacked right now. I mean, he could definitely lift really well, but if his cardio isn't tip-top shape, then I don't see him winning the final. He came in fourth place on Vendettas. You know, it's not his big strength. It's going to be an interesting season. Let's run through the cast again. Genesis Moss and Cyrus are alternates. I'm sad that Genesis is an alternate because she's the perfect type of person who should be on an all-star season. However, we went through this female cast list and it's stacked top to bottom in terms of like what our people are bringing to the table. And I don't want to bump anyone off this female cast. So I would love to see Genesis on, but I don't know who I would bump her for. Veronica Portillo, Tina Barta, Rachel Robinson, Nicole Zenyatta, Cam Williams, Laurel Stuckey, Jasmine Renoir, Janelle Casanave, Flora Alacasiyun, Cara Maria Sorbello, Ayana Mackins, Avery Tressler, Tyree Ballard, Tony Raines, Steve Mankey, Ryan Kehoe, Leroy Garrett, Kefla Hare, Jay Gotti Mitchell, whatever he calls himself, Derek Chavez, Brandon Nelson, Brad Fiorenza, Adam Larson, Ace Amerson, hosted by TJ Lavin. It'll come out sometime. Make sure to stay tuned on Venmo.com. Thank you to Pink Rose and the Explorer team there. Everyone, have a great day because, my God, we are going to be getting a mess of a season whenever this comes out. Cara Maria, Laurel, Cam, Nicole, Rachel, the Mean Girls. It's going to be a hell of a show.